All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always, here on the YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like these videos. Make sure to hit that like button. Really helps the algorithm in regards to YouTube. So appreciate it as always. Let's go ahead and get started around the horn. Dow futures down about 156 points. NASDAQ down about 0.73, S&P down 0.51%, Russell 2000 down about 0.47%. So NASDAQ being the lagging index among the majors, with the Dow and the Russell doing better than the S&P. Crude oil is up today marginally about a quarter point, 81.81 a barrel, $2.67 for gasoline futures. That's down 0.72%. Gold futures 1931 up 0.17%. Silver futures are down 0.17%. Copper is down 0.46%. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Pretty much flat in Forex land, 108.66. The dollar is flat as well, 102.13, down 0.1%. 130.45 for the dollar yen. That's down about 23 pips today. Pound dollar down about 85 pips, 122.92. Bitcoin futures taking a step back, 22,890. Really, the level you're looking for is right around 25,000. Again, let me give you a better chart on Bitcoin here. Let's see if I can click here. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is on Coifin. So again, you could see that's really the level we're looking at is around 25,068. Again, we're still above the 200 MA, but you could see the RSI is overbought, at least right now on the yearly chart. So again, we're going to talk about some retesting of some key levels here this morning. Let's keep it going. We have Ethereum down about 1.13% at 16.18. 10-year treasury yields are down today, 3.515. Dollar's flat, and the VIX is at 2021, up about 2%. Okay, so yesterday, let's kind of recap yesterday. Yesterday was a very nice move in the S&P 500. We finally broke above here on the trend line. We can go ahead and bring up SPX. This is the S&P 500 index spot, not futures. And you could see that we did peak above here. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, all clear? Not exactly. So again, that is great that we settled above. We have not had settle above this trend line really at all in the past rolling 12 months. So we had a wick above it back in December with that nice CPI number, but then we fell with Powell on FOMC. But again, 40.19 is where we closed on SPX. It's still above the trend line. Let's go to futures. Futures were pretty much muted overnight because of the Asian holiday. So again, 40.15 is where we're currently at on the S&P 500 futures. So let's go ahead and break it down. Okay, so for the time being, yesterday we had Apple calls. We hit those. We had Tesla calls, and we hit those. And that was it. We didn't have much more risk. And the reason we didn't, because we expected at least a retest of at least the support here of 4,000. So that's where we want to take a look and see if we can get a little bit of retesting, 4,000 to 39.88 or so. That's the 200 MA on the 1 hour. I want to bring up the weekly because it's a very, very important key level that we did break, but we did not settle above, which is the 50 weekly moving average. So again, I wanted us to settle above that. We didn't get there. So again, that's going to have to be our target to break above and to show that, hey, we can settle above this trend line and still consider ourselves in the right place for some upward momentum. If we bring up the daily, let's bring up the moving averages again. And here is the key of the moving average that I'm looking at today. Here's the yellow line. That's the 50-day moving average. We're on the daily. And then you have the 200 moving average on the daily as well. Once that yellow line breaks above the red line, that's the golden cross, that should be a very healthy buy signal. I'm waiting for that to cross for us to get the all clear, not to put on a ton of risk, but at least give us the momentum that we're looking for. Maybe get us to 4,100, 4,150, 4,200 or so. Again, this is with the assumption that, again, like we talked about in December on the newsletter and on video, that we're going to get a 25 and pause. 25 basis point hike is pretty much baked in right now. The question is, do we get the pause? That's it. If we bring up the equal weight S&P 500, this is all the equal weight 500 stocks in the S&P. And again, you do have that golden cross. And again, guess what? It peaked above that trend line. And that yellow line is above the red line. So that's a really, really good sign. So again, I think that what we're going to get is a little bit of a pullback today, which is completely natural, completely normal after yesterday's big move. Maybe get us to 39.88. Retest this breakout that we had this yesterday morning. If we can get some kind of retest, maybe around the 4,000 area, I may want to go ahead and see if we can get some call action to maybe get back to that trend line and maybe scalp a couple of points. Granted, we do have Microsoft reporting earnings after the bell. There was tons of earnings today. I really don't want to go over all of them. So again, I went ahead and retweeted basically all the major big earnings today. 3M, Verizon, Raytheon reported. Who else reported today? Johnson & Johnson and Halliburton and Travelers and Union Pacific. So again, if you are interested in following or taking a look at those reports, feel free to take a look at our Twitter page. It's at GAR Capital. Again, that's always going to be free. So again, feel free to follow us. Turn on notifications. Again, only the important stuff is going to come out. That's what we send out. So again, if you turn on notifications, it'll pop up our tweets, news and information. So again, you have everything you need to follow the market. So again, I expect us to get to around 4,000, 39.88 possibly. Again, just look at that retest right here. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a pullback, you're looking at around 39.20. And the reason I'm saying that is just we're back testing the breakouts that we've had. And again, if we can retest and bounce, that's very, very strong. That shows that dip buying is there, that buyers are in full control. Again, we may be just getting some profit taking ahead of major earnings reports that are coming out. Microsoft today, and I believe Tesla on Thursday. I think Tesla's on Thursday. Let me make sure that's the case. I think I have it here. Let me get the exact dates. I know we talked about earnings yesterday, but let me make sure. Tesla will be tomorrow. So we have Tesla tomorrow after the close. Again, big mover, and then Microsoft today after the close. So again, it would be okay or pretty prudent for us traders today not to do too much, in terms of trying to put a lot of risk on. Again, in terms of what I'm seeing in terms of patterns, let's go back to the daily. If we can get back to around 4,000 here, again, I know this is a weekly chart, excuse me. Let's go to a 4-hour, probably makes a little better sense. Again, you have one breakout and you have two. I want to retest that second breakout that we had yesterday, retest and bounce off the 50 on the 4-hour chart and get us back to this trend line. Do we settle above the trend line on S&P futures? That depends on Microsoft earnings. That's going to be after the bell. I want to say it's at 4:15 with the full earnings call, but I'm pretty sure the report will come out right at 4. So again, we'll keep an eye on it as we go. But right now, you're at a point of no man's land. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on risk today. If anything, you're probably closing out some risk. If anything ahead of that, I want to see Microsoft's report. I want to see if they're talking about buybacks, dividend increases, maybe more layoffs, or what their tone or what their discussion is with ChatGPT. Is it going to be integrated or is it just an investment? We'll see. But that's really it for the day. If we take a look at Qs this morning, Qs on the 1 hour, we are now trading at 287.12. Again, we're not even below the trend line here. You can see that we broke out of the trend line as well. Maybe a retest of that trend line, 285.87 may give us a shot to possibly trade here and maybe take a look at maybe the 290 calls, 295 calls, which is the red 200 MA here. So again, right here is your Fibonacci retracements. We're above that trend line, of course. Our target really is that 200 MA. We had Tesla as well. Let's go to the daily, and you can see that daily is really my target, which is that 50 MA around 153.95. We pulled back a little bit with the market, 141.48, but again, you can see this yellow line. If we recapture this yellow line here, maybe 136, may give us an opportunity to play something if we get a little bit of a pullback today. Back to Apple, kind of very similar approach with Tesla as well. Again, really just targeting that 100 moving average at 143.91. You see this candle as well, but we're still above the 50. So again, it's really just a wait and see approach. Again, the one thing I really want to emphasize here, guys, is you don't need to do everything every day. You don't need to trade every day. It's just, I wish it'd be a lot easier said than done, right? But at the end of the day, guys, it's all about risk. We're 2 for 2 so far. Again, let's wait for this retest. Like for example, if Apple gets back down to a 137.90, and then we could start seeing if we can retest those breakouts, see if they buy the dip, and then we can go ahead and see if we get continuation. Or if we break down, we can play puts all the way to the second breakout level. For example, here on Friday, 134.59. If we break below 137.59, maybe take a look at the 135 puts. Again, there's different scenarios for every little thing, but again, what I'm expecting is just a retest, get us back to the beginning of the breakout from yesterday's breakout, and see if buyers defend that level. That's really it. Good morning, good morning. STX calls. Let's take a look at it. Young Jay's asking. STX is Seagate Technology. I didn't see their earnings. Is it coming out this week? I'm not sure. But again, very similar to all the high betas. Pretty much very similar to the Tesla chart here. Again, you're really just targeting 67. So again, Young Jay, if you are bullish on this stock, and again, it is breaking out, at least we're actually up today, I would probably take a look at that 67 strike, maybe the 70 strike, catch that momentum to the upside. But again, it really depends on volume, and right now the market is closed in terms of options until 9:30. So that would be my target if I was trading it. Scott says, good morning, what's up, man? Hope all is well with you. Let's take a look here at the dollar again. One of our favorite charts. Again, just kind of hovering around 101.62. We know the drill. Not much going on there. We're just going to have to wait and see if we get back to that key 100 to 99 level. If we go to the 10-year Treasury yield, again, kind of just hanging around. And we're waiting for earnings. Microsoft, Tesla coming up. Let's see these corporate earnings and see how well they do. I got some news in terms of corporate earnings, and I want to send that to you. I actually want to read it to you. It's under my likes on Twitter, and I want to read it because it was actually a really good statistic. Let's see. I know I had it. Here we go. Did I? Okay. This is from yesterday. Of the 57 companies that reported so far, 11% of the S&P 500. Overall earnings results are beating estimates by the median of 5%, and 67% of those reporting are beating estimates. So again, they are beating estimates at least the majority of earnings that have came in. So again, it's really the bar is pretty low. That's pretty much what I'm expecting with all the macro headwinds, the dollar yields, Fed tightening. So again, the expectation is pretty low. As long as we can beat those expectations, then we can see a little bit more of a continuation to the upside on S&P 500, which is the main thing that we look at pretty much every day. So in terms of target, my end of the year target, I made a video for Investment Club, is really right around the August highs, around 4,300. That's the target I'm looking for. Could we get above at 4,400? Sure, I don't think we settle there. But around 4,300, 42, 44, that seems about right. We'll get some more volatility, really depending on the Fed, earnings, and geopolitical stuff. Ukraine and Russia, I don't know. Bombs, nuclear bombs fly, and then forget all this. It doesn't even matter, obviously. But again, 4,300 being that major target for me. That's about 300 handles from where we are currently. That breaks out of that trend line, and all it does is gets us back to the August highs. If you're really bullish and you really think the soft landing approach is really going to happen, if that's the case, then you're probably looking at 4,600. I don't think that's the case. I think that we're going to get a lower dollar, we're going to get lower yields and lower inflation, but inflation will still remain sticky. I think that trifecta will get us to 4,300, which is relatively decent, about a 12% move from where we had, or 13% move what we had from January 1 or January 2. So again, solid year. That's what I'm expecting. After a very ugly bear market, we'll probably rally to 4,300. And again, that could reject too. There's so many pieces in place. This is why it's not an investable market yet. It just isn't. We need a little more clarity. You don't have to be first to buy the dip. You don't have to be first to call a bottom. Again, all you need to do is be correct. That's it. You don't have to be first. You don't have to be second. Just be correct. That's it. If you get the direction down, you're pretty much set. But it's right now, it's still really choppy. I mean, look at this, guys. Pretty much fat and flat is what we've been since June. for the past 6 months. And you can see it's just a little bit of peaking, a little bit of below, but kind of stuck in that range of 4,100 to 38.50, 37.50. That's not a lot of edge. Again, don't get me wrong. We can still trade futures. We can still trade Forex. We can still trade commodities if we wanted to. We could trade stock options with it, momentum and everything like that, sure. But in terms of investable environment, it just ain't it yet. Let's take a look. ENVX. Let's see this one from Scotty. This is Enovix Corp. So you got one thing working for you, Scotty. You have the $12 gap to fill. It is now trading at 8.17. I don't know much about this business, but again, if you're looking for at least some continuation to the upside, you need to get above at least around $9. And if you do $9, you can play a flyer to 12. That's basically it. And that's going to be a tough one because I don't know much about them. But if we take a look at CVS, CVS is hitting some key support. So CVS, good eye, Scotty. CVS again, CVS Health, just like what is it? The Walgreens, Boots Alliance. Again, pharmacies, pretty stable, pays a dividend. Again, you're not looking for tons of growth, but again, if you're looking for a possible play to take a look at some, dip buying here, hey, this isn't a bad level here at around 85, 86 on a CVS. I don't know if their earnings have come out yet, but man, that ain't a bad level to look at and maybe throwing a couple of crumbs at CVS. Good eye. But again, I think CVS would probably be a better setup than ENVX personally. CVX is obviously a larger cap company. Let's see what their yield pays. So at least you get some income while you're holding the stock. It's paying a 2.78 dividend yield. Hey, that ain't bad right now, especially in this rate environment where you're getting pretty solid dividends. But again, at least solid dividends here, 2.78%. Sure, you could buy a 10-year treasury or a 2-year, sure, paying at 4. But again, if you're looking to hold a stock and maybe rent a stock or own it while getting paid to own it, I think CVS, you can't really go wrong. PE ratio is a bit much at 37. So again, we need to see some increase in income in terms of the balance sheet for CVS. We need to see some earnings pop a little higher to bring that price to earnings down, because 37.06 PE ratio for this kind of company, which is basically a dividend paying, consumer staple, that's not going to play out. I mean, 37 times earnings is higher than Apple. It's higher than Microsoft. So, speaking on valuations, it's not the best. But again, in terms of charting, it ain't bad. It pays a nice yield. So again, you can kind of hold it for a bit. Not terrible. I think you could do a lot worse. If I had to go ahead and put a stop on this, there's a stop maybe at 78.16. You do have a gap to fill right here on the daily. So again, maybe if you take a look at a CVS, maybe around 85, you can start putting a little bit in, maybe investing in it a little bit, and then see if you do get that gap fill. I think if you do break below 75, the stock maybe, you could probably take away that and put the stop there, maybe. But CVS, I don't think it's a bad stock. I think it's just a little expensive. So maybe we do get that gap fill, 78.16, maybe post earnings or something like that. It's not that CVS can't be volatile. Of course it can. The question is, what's going to happen? Are they going to show at least some good earnings to bring down that PE multiple? Or are we going to fall more and then that's going to make it worse? So it just really depends on the view of CVS and forward guidance. So we'll get that forward guidance once they get to their earnings. I don't know when they're reporting. CVS stock. CVS reports. Let's see, CVS stock earnings. Earnings report. Let's see when this is. They will report. I don't have, okay, this will be here. This is according to NASDAQ. This will be reported on the 8th of February. So now we know. 8th of February, we will know their earnings, we'll know their guidance, we'll know exactly if that PE multiple is even going to be a little lower. So we need higher revenue, we need higher earnings for them to justify the current PE ratio. So something's got to give. Does this support hold? Do we break down to around 83? Or do we get down to this gap fill around 78.26 on the daily? Well, it all depends on those earnings, and it also depends on Walgreens because they're in the same sector. So again, a little bit of redness in the market today. Again, we're getting a little bit of pullback. I expect us to get a retest of around 4,000 S&P. That might give us an opportunity to play a bounce or to play kind of a reversal on that if the bulls do hold that 4,000 support. We got as high as 40.56 yesterday. This is why we kind of sat in our hands after we got Apple and Tesla. Again, we don't have to, do everything in one day. Take it easy. We'll see if we get this retest. And we got a lot more to go. Friday we have core PCE. We have a GDP number on Wednesday. Microsoft today after the bell, and then of course Tesla tomorrow. So much on the plate. We'll be ready for it. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Young Jay, for your questions. As always, I appreciate you guys. I will go ahead and see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Tuesday and happy trading. Cheers.